there is some other news in
Yes.
Spurs world. Um, and it ties into something that you and I have talked about, and really you specifically kind of brought up the idea of a while back, and that was when we were doing our full roster breakdown. Um, After the campaign trade, you brought up how, you hadn't really seen much on his social media. There had been other guys who had been traded, like Reggie Bullock. We'd been seeing him tweet a lot during Summer League, and we just hadn't really seen anything about the Spurs on campaign social media. So you were like, maybe, he doesn't want to come here. Maybe, this is a sign that he could just be somebody that we cut, and it's just going to be Reggie and Shetty who make the team. And he could have just been, an asset to pick up with a free pick because of the scenario that the Spurs are in right now. But then there was a tweet that came out this week, or not a tweet, it was a video. I mean, I'm sure there was a tweet of it too, but there was an
Yep.
Instagram live from campaign where he was on there basically saying that he didn't want to leave Phoenix and he felt like Phoenix wanted to win a chip and that he could have helped him with that because he's tough, Ethan.
Yeah. I mean, he's not wrong.
That's what he said, y'all. Like I kind of joked with
No, you're
that there, but
quoting him.
if you guys didn't see, he literally went on Instagram live and said he didn't really want to leave Phoenix and he felt like he could have helped them win a championship still.
There's two sides of this that need to be looked at. The first one, I think, is the one that most people are ignoring, which is he's not completely wrong. He is stating a fact. Like, Phoenix is a much better team right now
Yeah.
than the San Antonio Spurs. He's not old, but he's not young. So he wants to be competitive. He wants to go for that championship. So just objectively, Phoenix is where he would want to be. I have no problem with him saying that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, for me, the nerve-wracking thing is he still hasn't mentioned San Antonio at all. So despite him going on that tirade a little bit about him being tough and him wanting to win with Phoenix, he didn't have a caveat where he was like, but at the same time, happy to be in San Antonio, let's get to work. Like
Right.
or even like, thanks for San Antonio for picking me up. Like let's do, like, not a word about the Spurs or San Antonio or even Wemby, nothing. So really, I don't know if there's anything we can really take from this yet, Jude. I don't know if he's said a concrete opinion either way on his opinion about playing with San Antonio.
I don't think there's anything we can take from it either, other than the fact that there is more. It is not guaranteed, which really this was the reality of the situation. But I think when we all saw the campaign trade, we were just like, immediately, he's going to fit into the rotation. That was immediately probably, most Spurs fans' reactions. That was
Yeah,
probably you and I's
for
reaction,
sure.
right? But the reality of it is that he's just not. I mean, with the Spurs, almost with every player that they pick up, other than like their core group of guys, he's just not guaranteed to be on the team. He
Yeah,
totally could make the team. I think talent wise, he has the ability, but
for sure.
the Spurs take in a lot of other things whenever it comes to having players on their roster. I mean, we've the example that I would say, obviously, campaign is not. The examples I'm about to use are nowhere near as good as campaign, but like think about an Al-Farouq Aminu, and I can't remember the other player, but it was another player that we assigned or that we acquired in a sign and trade that we just ended up like they came to training camp and then we just cut them.
Hmm.
Obviously this is a different situation from campaign when it comes to talent, but we have acquired guys and cut them. Lamar Stevens,
Hmm.
example number one, right? Point guard is definitely much more of a need, and I would like to have him on the team. But um, it's ironic to say that the off the court stuff might affect him just with the way that rant looked when you consider that DWI Devontae is the other option.
Yeah,
Um,
who is suspended for 2 games, I think.
right. I mean, I don't, I should stop calling him DWI Devontae. I'm just saying that like he's got some literal legal stuff, so it's kind of hard to be like, oh well, campaign's off the court personality isn't going to mesh well with the team, and they're going to go with Devontae Graham instead
Yeah.
when he just had some legal issues, but still those issues happened before. And I guess this is, well, no, he made this live after he was traded to San
Hmm.
Antonio. So this
Yeah.
isn't San Antonio where the DWI happened in Charlotte. Um, and I don't know. I mean, everybody gets a second chance. I'm not sure how the Spurs look at the Devontae situation. I'm not going to try to pretend to. I would say that I think all Spurs fans would think that more the Spurs are more stringent whenever
Mhm.
it comes to that type of stuff. But I think, Ethan, you watched this video, you sent it to me, and most Spurs fans who have watched this video, who are watching us right now, I think they can tell that the Spurs just might have some questions about that video
I
and the
think
way
the
he was
question
talking.
I think the Spurs have less to do with it than campaign. I think the Spurs, despite that video, would still like to bring him in,
Hmm.
go into the season with
That's
him
very
as the
true.
backup point guard. The question for me is still on campaign. Does he want to play for San Antonio? And I don't think it's a question of personality. I mean, I don't know campaign obviously. I have very little experience watching him in interviews or anything because he hasn't played for any team that I care about until now. Um, but I don't think it's a personality issue where he's going to, rub guys in the locker room the wrong way. I think it would simply come down to where he is in his career. He just wants to be in a place where he can compete for a championship.
No,
And that's the question.
Yeah, really, I did that roundabout thing at the beginning. I'm forgetting exactly what I said. I was just saying it's not guaranteed that he's going to be on the roster, and
Yes.
that's very true. Just when it comes, because I was kind of talking from like an evaluation standpoint in that aspect, and that includes on and off the court. That's what I was talking about there. But the other aspect has nothing to do with the Spurs evaluation, which is the process that they always go through. But it's also just, does he want to come here or not?
Yes.
That's probably the bigger point with the video that we're talking about, and not posting anything or talking about the team at all, because there have been other guys who have done that. So
Hmm.
now, with that being said, like you said, it's not guaranteed that we're going to trade him or anything. I think the Spurs would still love to have him here this year as a rotational piece as a point guard, especially when you consider his contract and it being an expiring deal. That, say, Blake makes a jump at the beginning, halfway through this season, but maybe Blake takes a jump and I don't think this is going to happen, but if he takes a jump, really progresses this year in the G League, you might be able to trade campaign for some, a second round pick or something, and bring up Blake in the second half of the season if his progression happens. There's a lot of, the point is, he's a very favorable asset on the court and as a contract. So
Most
it's
definitely.
it's something the Spurs would want to bring into this season. Is it something he wants to do? The signs are not as bright as the other guys that we've brought on. I think that's the best way that we can put it.
If you could turn off morale and chemistry and personality like you can in 2K, I think he's the perfect fit, and I think he has the highest chance of the three guys that we brought in to be on the team as far as talent and just positional need. Like we
Yeah.
have wings. Like if we lose Reggie Bullock, like okay, well we could bring up Champagne. We're pretty. We have a lot of wings at that position. We have depth, but the point guard spot, it's Trey Jones and it's Blake Wesley, and we're not entirely sold on whether or not Blake Wesley is ready. So he would be a guaranteed like fit and rotational piece for the team, most definitely.
Yeah. So we'll have to see. Just something to keep an eye on there. I know it's not happy news for Spurs fans, but
It's news.
there might be a chance that he doesn't want to play here. So just right, it's news and the reality of the situation. But